In Florida, a combination of dramatic population growth and land scarcity has created two poles for the state's industrial real estate market. Orlando, a major population center and key regional distribution hub, and Miami, a metro area called the commercial capital of Latin America, all within a 12-mile wide strip of land between the Florida Everglades and the Atlantic Ocean.
You see it every day, every report you read, people are moving in droves to Florida. Orlando continues to see record population growth. South Florida continues to see record population growth.
Currently, 22 million people reside in the state. That number grows by 6,000 people per week. A lot of that consumer demand and a lot of that buying is driving warehouse space needs. I've seen all the metros evolve from very, very high vacancy, low industrial focus to more of a primary focus on establishing strategic warehouses in A-plus locations in order to serve that population.
Many organizations operate their Miami or Orlando portfolios through New York, Chicago, outside of the region. We've assembled a team that's best in class, located in these markets. We see deal flow that not other organizations see.
We have 11 million square feet of development in the pipeline, making us the #1 developer in the state of Florida.
Home to 12 theme parks, including Walt Disney World, Orlando served as many as 118 million tourists in 2021.
Our customer base not only serves the consumers that do come to town, but also all the ancillary businesses that support the tourism industry. Parts for the cruise ships, stuffed teddy bears for Disney. All of the goods and services that go to Disney, go to Universal, any major tourism hub.
But Orlando's swelling population, now at 2.7 million, is transforming its economy.
Orlando has a lot of people, and there's a lot of us there.
And Link's Orlando portfolio is well positioned to capture the upside from these trends.
Surprisingly, the Orlando portfolio is more diverse than I think people would realize. So 28-30% of our tenant base supports the hospitality and tourism industry. Then we also have high-end manufacturers, consumer goods distributors, construction materials, home improvement materials, e-commerce, and 3PLs.
And to generate the highest demand, Link focuses on pockets where supply is lowest.
When a customer needs to modify their space, permitting, planning, design, all of that takes time and eats away from when they can start operating. With Vista Business Center, it was one of the first, if not the first, bulk distribution buildings that also catered to a user that needed a high office finish. In Vista, you have high-end manufacturers, so they need more office space, air-conditioned warehouse space to keep components cool, more parking, and additional power. Because we have a higher office build-out, we are able to put a value on those amenities because we have the ability to deliver space more timely than if the customer had to go out and build it and recreate it.
Link's deep local market expertise is a key advantage over other developers, allowing Link to secure both the land and permits necessary to stay ahead of the competition.
The biggest challenge to development in Orlando is obviously finding the site, but on top of the site, we have wetland issues, soil issues, endangered trees and animals that we have to deal with on site. We make sure we bring in the right engineers, the right construction crews, the right architects. And when everyone wins, development goes a lot smoother.
In Miami, Link's portfolio is designed to serve two major needs: last-mile distribution and handling the massive flow of goods through Miami's seaports, cruise terminals, and airports.
Miami International Airport sees roughly 93% of fresh cut flowers come through the airport, as well as fresh goods and produce. It is the gateway to South America. It is the gateway to Latin America and the Caribbean.
Port Miami is very well known for servicing our cruise industry. We're actually known as the cruise capital of the world. So we do have a lot of industrial clients that need to be within close proximity to the ports just to support the cruise and tourism industry. In order to keep up with this volume, we now have the Port Miami and the Miami International Airport undergoing a joint venture where they're expanding their capacity of the flow of goods so we can bring in more perishable goods, process them, and get them out to our consumer base faster than ever.
Meanwhile, the influx of large corporations and high net worth households is heating up the industrial market even further.
Since 2020, we've had most of our migration come from New York, Boston, DC, and Chicago. And these tend to be more high net worth, high income individuals that are moving their families down here as well as their businesses. South Florida has a very favorable business environment. We have no state income tax, and the housing costs here are still much lower than other major metros in the country. So that's really helped drive our e-commerce and retailers and food delivery services on the industrial side.
And so what's happening now is there's a very, very strong demand for warehouse space that is not readily available.
Something Link has been very successful in is identifying pieces of land that maybe have a property on it that is obsolete to the market or not serving the community. And we found creative ways to repurpose these to provide the Class A industrial space that these markets need.
Prime example of us leaning into this market is Derby Pointe, which is known as the Calder Racetrack. We recently acquired that. Derby Pointe for us is a one-of-a-kind opportunity to create 2.3 million square feet. It's one of the last remaining large bulk sites here in Miami. That opportunity was sourced by our capital markets team through a relationship that they had. And without that relationship, we would not have the opportunity to create one of the best developments and one of the largest developments here in South Florida.
Because there's such a demand for the Class A space, the Class A lease rates are actually projected to outpace the rest of the market by over 20%. And a great example of how we're setting the lease rates in that asset class is our new construction development, Ironwood, in Opa-locka. Traditionally, it was more of a Class C and D building market, a lot of older, non-functional buildings. And this is a property that was not really serving the surrounding community and was also a bit of an eyesore for the area. We're now just finishing up construction for over 500,000 square feet of Class A warehouse space, and the customer reaction to it has been awesome. We've seen so much leasing activity. We're setting new record rates in that area.
Link's success in Florida to date has been exceptional, and the economic tailwinds are only growing stronger.
Through COVID, tourism took a step back, which allowed for a new customer diversification in Orlando and Miami. Tourism is now creating a much greater tailwind in these markets. We had 75 million tourists through Orlando. Miami is the cruise ship capital of the world. So we're adding this tailwind to the new diversification through COVID. Combined with our development pipeline, it's allowing for massive amounts of rent growth in the Florida markets.